Hello, friends and listeners. We are happy to introduce another esteemed member of Computer Science Teacher Association, also known as CSTA, as our guest today, Mr. Jason Bohrer. Jason is the Chapter Relations Manager at the CSTA. It's been more than 15 years since he was honorably discharged from the United States Marine Corps. Thank you. During his 9 years of service, he saw technology taking a lead role in how troops are supported both in garrison and in the theater of war. He actively participated in supply systems that became computer-based, then cloud-based. While his college studies entailed of a degree in English literature with an emphasis in teaching, and soon their credential also in English, it was his time in the Marine Corps that warranted him a second credential in CTE, Information and Communications Technologies. He has trained countless Marines in new and emerging technologies, and that passion has become a large part of the teacher he has become. Working with many educators involved in computer science education has made him feel the same sense of wonder and inspiration he felt years ago when he began teaching as a career. The difference this time is that he wants to share this passion with other educators. Jason, welcome. We are excited to have you on our show, Let's Talk Computer Science.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
You have an amazing background, as I have so many questions on your background. Maybe some other time. Yeah, so I know you have taught adults technology at Marines, but did you teach kids as well anytime?
No, in the Marine Corps, I was in supply for the 1st Marine Division, and as I progressed through the ranks, and as I was in the Marines longer and longer, I began training Marines. We did do some volunteer work at local schools.
Yeah, thank you so much for serving our country.
Oh, no, thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about your life and how technology aided you in the corps?
Certainly. I joined in the early 90s, and they were still doing a lot of their supply procedures on cards, little cardstock cards where you filled out the numbers and handed it to a person, and that person went and got you things and stuff like that. And it just so happened that when I got there, they were transitioning to a computer system where instead of the cards, you were inputting the numbers, saving things to files, and then taking disks to people. So that was the first progression. And then eventually we started uploading that data to put in supply orders and to resupply some of our units. So I really got to be kind of right on the edge of that technology wave.
Yep. So, can you tell us more about CSTA and about your role at CSTA?
Sure. The Computer Science Teachers Association, as you know, is the largest K-12 computer science organization. And my role here as the chapter relations manager is to connect teachers to local communities of CS educators. So we're a big organization, that reaches worldwide, but teachers need support locally. So my job with chapters is to connect teachers in any some states have chapters, some metropolitan areas have chapters. Connect those teachers on a more local level. What we want to do with chapters is provide communities for educators locally. We want to provide professional development and support for those same educators. And of course, we want to help those local communities grow and become stronger. Right now, we have over 90 CSTA chapters. and those chapters are led
Wow.
by yeah, over 90. And those chapters are led by volunteer chapter leaders, and we have over 500 volunteer chapter leaders helping to guide those 95 chapters and their members.
Wow, that's impressive. Over 500 volunteers. Yeah, and I know these people are like there's such shortage of computer science teachers, and these people are rare, and you are able to recruit 500. That's a good number in the context of how many CS teachers are there in the system.
Yeah, and that's who I spend most of my time working with is those chapter leaders. And it's great. They're a great group of professionals, and they really, go above and beyond to not only teach in the classroom, but then to help other teachers in their classrooms as well. So it's really rewarding getting to work with the chapter leaders.
Yep. And most of the schools have only one computer science teacher, so this organization really helps them to connect with other teachers, which they wouldn't have normally in a day, like other math and English teachers would have.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When I was a computer science teacher in the classroom, I taught computer science and English, and I had an English department on my campus, people I could go talk to about my lessons and my classes. But there was no one else teaching computer science, like you said. So my CSTA chapter, CSTA Sacramento, became my, CS department, if you will. That was my professional learning community.
Okay, so you taught computer science. I didn't realize that in high school.
Yeah, I was a high school computer science and English teacher before I took on this role here at CSTA.
Oh, okay. Wow. Computer science and English, what a rare combination, right?
They work really well together. A beautiful
Yeah.
poem. Writing a beautiful poem is very much like writing some beautiful code. To make something work.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, both are languages,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
With syntax and rules and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, what are your organization CST's goals and visions for this upcoming year?
I think for this upcoming year, what we want to do is expand professional development opportunities for CS teachers. There's a lot of PD, we call it, a lot of professional development initially for CS teachers. They get a week-long training in computer science so they can go teach a course, but we need ongoing professional development for those teachers. And so we're looking to build those opportunities, and we want to continue to build community among CS educators. And so we're finding lots of ways to do that. We have engage meetups every month, where people from any chapter are welcome. And we have events like our Equity in Action Summit this weekend. So we're just always looking for ways to provide support for teachers and to build community with those teachers.
Okay, yeah, that's very needed as we are talking, right? Yeah. How do you feel teachers and schools need to help improve the K-12 CS education?
I think a lot of work needs to be done in equity in computer science instruction. It's a complex problem, and it has to be tackled in many ways. Teachers need time to reflect and plan and to apply to be more equitable in their classes and to be more inclusive in their recruitment and participation in CS classes. And I think the way to do that, like I was mentioning before, is to provide more professional development for teachers. More training for teachers, and more ways for teachers to connect with one another and talk about challenges that they share and things that are working. Things that are working well in my classroom might work well in someone else's classroom, and vice versa.
Yep, yep, totally makes sense. So, how do you think our K-12 CS education has evolved over the years, and where do you see it heading in the future?
I think over the years it evolved to be an area of focus. CS teaching, I think in the past was kind of a fringe subject, an elective subject. That very few people had access to, first of all, because if you didn't have someone at your school who could teach the course, then it just simply wasn't available. And then it was, just uh, you know, a select few people who kind of had an interest. I think what's changed is that we recognize the value of computer science education, the way that we recognize the value in math, English, the social sciences. So I've seen computer science education just in the last 5 or 6 years become much more valued as a subject where schools want to include it.
Why do you think? Is it's just because we're becoming more technology and it's all over around us, or is there any specific deliberate things that you think has helped this,
I,
like help increase the interest among
I
students?
think both are true. I think the more we immerse ourselves in technology every day, conducting this podcast over, online and
Mm-hmm.
smartphones, I think were paved the way for people to be interested in computer science, and we see a lot of jobs in computer science. The more technology grows, the more employers are looking for people with a computer science background or at least an awareness of computational thinking and those concepts. And so I think that in turn has kind of led to an increased push.
Yep. So what were you teaching when you were teaching, and when was it?
I was teaching in the
Computer science.
mid 2000s to about a 10-year span from the mid 2000s to the 2015 16, and I was teaching.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I started teaching English, so I was teaching a lot of English courses. And then I was lucky enough to get involved with Exploring Computer Science, a great program. And I also was fortunate enough to start teaching the AP Computer Science Principles class when it launched, using the Beauty and Joy of Computing. And so that was kind of my computer science teaching experience.
So, can you talk to me a little bit about exploring computer science? Was that like an curriculum offered by someone, or was that a curriculum that was set by the state and you have prepared your own curriculum?
No, Exploring Computer Science is a curriculum that came out of UCLA and the University of Oregon, a collaboration that focuses on computational thinking and aims to be as inclusive and equitable as possible. It has 6 units, and the first 2 units you don't even need a computer at all. It's all unplugged, and it focuses on computational thinking and problem solving. And then they use Scratch, the program that comes out of MIT, do some coding. They also have a web development unit that does some HTML.
And for APCS principles, have you used any curriculum, or you took it out of?
No, I used a curriculum out of Berkeley called the Beauty and Joy of Computing. Berkeley and NC State partnered to create and provide professional development for new computer science teachers to use this as their AP Computer Science Principles curriculum. It was all aligned to the AP course, and it used a coding program called Snap, a block coding environment to help students learn computational thinking practices and coding in the classroom. Another fantastic curriculum.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't know about that. So, I have one last fun question. If you have one wish to help improve the K-12 CS education, what would you wish for?
I think my wish would be that computer science was required in all schools. That there were standards in every state for every school and every district, and that computer science, every student gets to have an English class regardless of where they live and where they go to school. Every student gets to have a math class, and I would love to see an educational system, a K-12 educational system, where every student got to have a computer science class.
Yeah, I love it. I, this would be the quote for you. Where you're an educational system where every student gets to have computer
Yeah, I
science.
think that's the dream.
Yeah, that has to be a reality, unfortunately. It's a dream right now.
We'll get there, and we're working towards it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By when do you
Oh,
think?
that's a tough question. uh, the sooner the better.
Or like 5 years, 10 years, 30 years?
I see. I mean, with all the advances in the last 5 years, in the way things tend to grow exponentially, I could foresee in the next 5 to 10 years where computer science is a required subject at all schools, like English and math and the social sciences, and the traditional sciences, the lab sciences.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I will hold you to
All
it.
right.
Just kidding. Yeah. So, Jason, if our listeners would like to reach out to you, this is completely an optional question. Would you like to give your email or a, a social media handle?
Yeah, they can reach me through the CSTA website or at jason, dot Bohrer, Bohrer, at csteachers.org, or they can reach out on Twitter at Mr. J. Bohrer, Bohrer. Happy to connect.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for giving all this information. It was very thought-provoking for me, and I'm sure it will be for all of our listeners. Thank you so much for your
All right,
time.
thank you. It was a pleasure.